Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, JRC Restoration Decor and Designs, and my name is Phyllis. In today's video I will be sharing with you how I created a storage tray bench using a cardboard, some paper towel holders from the Dollar Tree, a glue gun, and poster boards. These are inspirations that I pulled off Pinterest is what you're looking at, and the most thing that I'm concentrating on is the legs. I was inspired when I was watching the Crafty couple, how the wife put this table together using just wood and the paper towel holders, and she was inspired when she watched Mindy of Simply Mindy, and Mindy used paper towel holders to create this plant stand that you see coming up. I'm also going to be using the face of a clock to go on top, which will not be operational, but later maybe put in the mechanism, and that's why I included these pictures. Here is the cardboard box. My daughter just recently bought a deep freezer, and the box is so nice and sturdy and thick. I got the idea of doing this. And here are the paper towel holders that you purchase from the Dollar Tree for $1. And here is the face of a clock that my daughter used to have. I used the clock in my nephew's apartment and just kept the face of it. And coming up, you will see the completed version of my storage tray table, which is this right here. And it has gone through several processes before I got to what I'd like. So if you're interested in seeing how this comes together, then just keep watching. And I want to thank you for stopping by. Here's the cardboard again that I used, and I've already traced 3 circles using the clock face front. And here I'm showing you up close, and I'll be cutting the 4th one out. What I did was I glued 2 pieces together for the base of what I would call the drum portion of the storage table, and the other 2 pieces that I'm going to be gluing together is going to be for the tray, which is going to be sitting on top of the storage table. Now these are the flaps that are from the end of the box, and what I've used those for, I covered them with the black poster board paper, and they're going to be for the circumference of the box or the drum, so it looks almost like a drum shade that I'm making. And then I'm going to also cut it lengthwise. That the parts that are left over, I'm going to cut it lengthwise. And the same process that I'm using to make the drum shade portion for the table is the same process that I'm going to be using for the tray. So I won't be showing you that I'm making the tray part, because it's the exact same steps that I'm using for the drum. Okay, here I'm gluing the 2 circles together. These 2 and then the other 2. Here I'm just trimming because When I glued it, I extended it just a little beyond the edge, so I want it to be as perfect as possible. Now here are the pieces that I rolled up, and here I'm creating the drum of the storage table, and I just put glue on the edge, and it's thick enough to where I can do that. I did have a challenge trying to keep this on, so you'll see me lay it down and press it up against the wall to kind of hold it. And then after gluing there on the edge, I'm going to glue on the inside to where the round parts of the edge of the round part and the edge of the drum trim is meeting. And if you want to know what kind of glue stick I'm using, it is the Gorilla Glue, and this stuff is strong, and I absolutely love it because it is very strong. So you see I'm putting the glue on the inside as well, and then I'm going to glue the other part. I will have to cut a third piece because these two pieces, this piece and another piece that is exact length, does not meet, but I will be cutting a third piece, and you'll see me doing that after I glue this here together. And coming up after I glue this, and I put the glue on the inside for these seams to come together. Now here's the third piece. This is one of the white pieces that I rolled up, so I put it there, and I just trace and just cut right to the edge to make sure that the two sides meet right at the edge. I didn't want an overlap because when I glued the poster board, I didn't want that sticking out. So I cut it to where it meets perfectly on the edges, and I'm just making sure that it fits. Now here I'm going to be taking the poster board also that I purchased from the Dollar Tree and doing the same process. I'm gluing on the edge, the bottom of the drum portion of the table, and I will not be cutting that until I get the second piece on, and where there is an opening, I leave it open before I glue the third piece, and you'll see me do that. The reason why I did that is easier for me to get the scissors and just cut around, as opposed to me reaching down to try to snip an opening to start cutting. But you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Okay, now that I got that piece, this is where I'm talking about. I don't glue that other piece down yet because that just gives me room to cut the excess of the paper from the top, and then I use some of this that's left to fill in that gap, and I glue it around the bottom and then on both sides. And this I do overlap a little bit, but because it's so thin, it won't protrude too much from the contact paper that I will be using. And while I'm thinking about it, the contact paper that I'm using is the same contact paper that Yaduve of Yaduve Essentials used when she created this beautiful French provincial dresser, and I'll put a picture up. I'm not crazy about the paper. The paper is beautiful, but it's not repositional where you can pull it up, because when you pull it up, it'll tear whatever you put it on. At least it tore this. So I'm a fan of the Duck brand Walmart marble peel and stick contact paper, which is actually what's on this table that I'm working on now. The paper again is beautiful, but it's not repositional. And I actually copied the link that she put in the description box of that French provincial dresser, and I ordered it, and it was not a lot on the roll that I chose. It was just enough to do this, but when I went to pull it up, it started tearing the poster board. Now these are the pieces that's going to go around the tray. I'm going to also cut it lengthwise because here it's too wide. So later on I'll be cutting it lengthwise. I won't be showing that, but I'll just be cutting it lengthwise down the middle. And here it is, the drum part is finished. I put contact paper on the ends, not contact paper, but poster board paper on the inside as well. to give it a finished look. And speaking of finish, this is not perfect. If this was a school project, I would give myself a C minus. And these are just two wood pieces or two cardboard pieces that I cut and put slit in the middle. And I took some extra poster board just to give the top part a finished look. And then to give the finished look around the drum portion where you see the cardboard, the circle circumference of the drum portion of the table, I ended up using black tape, the electrical tape, because I'm using stuff that my daughter has. The only thing I had to buy was the poster board. And again, the way I did that crisscross, it was just some extra board from the cardboard, and I cut them just enough to fit in there, and I put a slit down both of them so they can just fit in between. Now here are the Dollar Tree paper towel holders. In hindsight, I wished I would have gotten 4 for this. It's holding up the weight of what I put in there, which are just simple things that my daughter uses in the living room. But for the size of it, I wish I would have gotten 4 of these paper towel holders. And what I'm doing here, and if you look at the videos from the Crafty couple and Simply Mindy, they show you what they did was they bent the top of the paper towel holder to give it the look that you want, and then I stacked them on top of each other to make sure that they all are bending equally, not one bending lower than another. And I did notice once I glued the legs to the bottom of the table, one was leaning lower, and here you can see this is what it looks like. And I really like that it does look like hairpin legs. And here it is. I put them on top, and I used the glue gun to go around the circumference of the napkin, not napkin, but paper towel holder. And you'll see that it looks like a hot glue mess. But I was not originally planning to do this video, but I figured I would just share what I do. I might do this again, and it would be a better look. But this was just something that just came to mind because she had that big cardboard box, and I remember looking at the video of the Crafty couple and Simply Mindy. Now here again, this is the contact paper that Yaduve used. It is some beautiful paper, but using it as a backing for poster board, it didn't work well, because when I wanted to pull up and reposition it started tearing the paper. And this is not repositional. And the backing is also has a silver sticky backing, which again is beautiful. But if I were to do this again, and which I believe I will do it again in the future, I'm going to use my favorite brand, and that's the Duck brand that I purchased from Walmart a lot. It's just like $5.48. Okay, here, this is the silver backing to it, and it's very nice. And I'm pretty sure you can use it on something else, but I wouldn't use it up against paper. And if you look real close, you can see where it just did not meet evenly. And what I did was I did little snippets. Anytime you're going to encourage, you do little snips to lay them down. The only downfall with that is that they didn't lay down, so I had to use some black tape to hold everything down on the inside. And as you see, that's what this is all the way around. Now this tape holder, I originally wanted this to be a turn storage table, so that's why this roll, it's an empty roll that I covered with the black tape. I'm putting glue on top so that I can put a cake pan that I purchased also from the Dollar Tree, because I saw this idea on YouTube of a turntable being created with the Dollar Tree pans and marbles, and it actually works. So I glued this to that tape tube, then I put the marbles in, and then I put the other pan on top, and it actually does work. The only thing that I didn't like is when I put the tray on top, it leaned, or it wasn't even with the top of the table. So when I spin it around, and here I'm going to put glue on the rim of the pan and then just glue it down. But when I put it, and you'll see right here, I'm turning it, and I actually put the clock facing in. I initially created it to be a turntable, but again it was off-centered and I just didn't like the look, so I ended up taking that tube off and recovering the crossings, storage crossings, because with the glue on there I ended up pulling the paper off. It's a nice concept. I love that she has storage. The turntable clock storage concept, I love the concept, and I will do this again, but I will take my time. This was just a rush job on this one, and I was thinking as I was doing this, and here it turns perfectly. But if you saw when it turned, it kind of just went off a little bit. That's because it wasn't perfectly centered. So this is where I decided, okay, I'm taking the tube off and I'm not going to make it a turntable, and I just had to recover the crossings with some more paper. I even put some paper at the bottom, and that white that you see is the glue. Can't fix that. So she's okay with it. She wished the clock would work, and I told her I can probably come back later and put a mechanism in it, or I just might make her a whole new top altogether, because this wasn't the best looking, but in hindsight, the concept, I just love the idea of the storage table with a clock on top if it really worked, and I would still love it to be a turntable. But all in all, I enjoyed creating this, and I hope you all enjoyed watching me put this storage tray table together. And again, I want to thank you all for stopping by. For watching JRC Restoration, Decor, and Designs. And remember, the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. So until next time, make it a blessed and productive day, everyone. Bye-bye.